Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I have Thomas here from Some Guys Movie Reviews, and we're going to be doing our predictions for the Oscars this year.
First of all, I just want to thank Brian for allowing me to come on this channel and kind of promote Some Guys Movie Reviews. We'll leave a link in the description in the comments, so feel free to check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. He does some great content over there, and he reviews a lot of movies that I don't review sometimes, so definitely worth checking out. The first category we're going to talk about is Best Supporting Actress, and who I think is going to win is Angela Bassett. She's been winning so many awards throughout this whole award season. It's definitely earned, and I do think it would be an interesting story seeing our first actor or actress win for an MCU film.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis is actually going to pull this one out. The reason I think this, she has the momentum kind of going into it, and we're going to touch on and allude to how Everything Everywhere might sweep. And I think this is one of those categories where Jamie Lee Curtis delivers a great performance, and she's going to win it. It'd be nice to see.
So who I'd really love to win is Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, like Thomas said, I think this movie just has all the positive momentum going into the Oscars, and I think she gave a really good performance. I feel like it's kind of unheralded. With the rest of the people in this film, everybody's nominated. Everyone's a front runner, the film, the director, and then she's kind of like put to the side, even though she's really the heart of that movie in many ways. And I think it would be great to see her rewarded for that.
All right, so who I want to win is actually kind of a dark horse and probably doesn't have much of a shot to win this category, to be honest. But I thought Hong Chow delivered such a great performance in The Whale. Honestly, some of my favorite scenes in that film were because of her. She felt so relatable, and the way that she was able to connect with Brendan Fraser's character, it just felt really heartwarming and nice. And there's this scene on the porch in that film that really highlights her acting skill. So I think that she should win, even though it's an outside chance.
Yeah, I think she did a great job. I think, like, again, she's another actress that nobody's really talking about, even though she really elevates that movie. Everyone's talking about Sadie Sink, Brendan Fraser, everything other than her, even though she's really vital to moving that story along and connecting with the idea of someone who is kind of enabling somebody but still loves them, and it is really touching, and she does a phenomenal job.
All right, moving on to Best Supporting Actor. I think we both share who will win this category. Ke Huy Quan definitely delivers the probably Best Supporting Actor performance, and the reason for that is because in Everything Ever All at Once, he's what I liked the most about the movie. As soon as I saw him on screen, it was a feel-good moment. You know, we remember him from Indiana Jones, and it was great to see him back in the movies and a leading role, and it just felt really good to watch, and I hope that he wins.
Yeah, obviously he's my pick as well, and he's also who I would really love to win. He's both of them for me. And the thing about it is, like with a lot of other people in this movie, he plays multiple characters. And I think that's always hard to do. And he's such a bright light in the movie. He's such a bright light in real life. So I think it's a phenomenal story, a real comeback. There's a lot of comeback stories this year at the Oscars, and I think he might be the biggest one.
Who I want to win actually is Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway. I think that this movie went under the radar, and he delivers such an extraordinary performance. I loved this movie. It was my third favorite movie of the year, and mainly because of his connection with Jennifer Lawrence. I thought the way that they were able to act off one another and how relatable he was, I just loved it. And so I really hope that he pulls it out, even though, again, it's an outside chance.
Yeah, it was a really surprise performance and a really good movie. Like Thomas said, it flew under the radar just being thrown up on Apple TV Plus. So if you have Apple TV Plus, I'd check it out. Like, it's really a powerful movie. It's not even that long of a film. It's really nice and consumable. I recommend it. If you want to see good performances, check that movie out.
Moving on to Best Director, I think Brian and I both share who will win in this category. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, I definitely think will win. This movie has a lot of momentum, kind of like what Brian was alluding to. We think it's going to sweep a lot of these categories. This is one where it really shines because without their direction, this film would have been a mess. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of crazy, silly stuff. In fact, I found the movie a little too silly, but without their direction, it would not have worked at all. And just them added to it made it actually kind of cohesive, and a lot of people loved it. So they did something right.
Yeah, I agree. This movie could have easily just gone fully off the rails and been just like a mess of a film, but they were able to really balance the line between ridiculous multiverse action and like heartfelt family drama. So bringing those two together is a really unique movie because when you think of action, sci-fi, multiverse stuff, you're thinking of like the MCU, something like that. But it's able to take kind of the essence of that and put it into a very artistic movie about family and about emotions and things like that. So it was a tough thing for them to pull off, but I think they did a great job.
Who I want to win, and also again who Brian I think wants to win as well, is Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is one of the best directors, if not the best director of all time. And this movie, The Fabelmans, proves it. There are so many scenes that are very memorable, things that will stick with me forever. Being a film fan, I think that any film fan can appreciate this. There are scenes where he gets his first camera, and you can kind of see that love and inspiration in the film, and the way Spielberg directs a lesser known actor. I think it's just a great job, and I really want Steven Spielberg to win this one.
Yeah, this movie is truly a love letter to cinema. It puts Steven Spielberg's heart and soul on the screen. It shows all of us as an audience why he loves making movies, how he
Yeah.
became the person that he is. And I think it's a real capstone on his career. He's able to take his great filmmaking elements and put it into this kind of autobiographical story. So I think it really is the best thing we can expect from him at this point in his career. And it feels so uniquely Spielberg, and it being about his life, it really touches people like us that love cinema. And it
Yeah.
really is, it's one of those movies that you go to the movies to check out. It's a classic Spielberg movie. It may not blow you away, and it may not be
Yeah.
the most unique thing in the world, but it is quintessentially Spielberg. So our next category is Best Actress, and I do think that Michelle Yeoh is going to kind of pull off the slight upset in this one. Like we had mentioned so many times, we're going to continue to mention, Everything Everywhere All at Once feels like something that's really going to do a great job here. It's going to have a great showing, and she really does deserve it. She gives a very physical performance. She really kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen her in the past in some really solid roles. This one feels really deserved, and she brings a lot of emotional and physical weight to this role, and I think she deserves it.
I'm going to go on the opposite end of this, and I think Kate Blanchett's going to pull it out. I think she's been a favorite throughout the award season. People love her performance. I think she is the best part of Tar. I didn't love that movie as much as a lot of people, but I can see why her performance is well received. She has kind of this tour de force and electric kind of performance going on, and so I think that she's going to pull it out.
So for me, like Thomas mentioned, we're kind of flipped. I want Kate Blanchett to win, and I know she is probably, I think, the slight favorite at this point, but I do think she gave a phenomenal performance in Tar. Like Thomas said, real tour de force, really also a lot of physicality in that. There's so many long shot scenes with her conducting that are just really powerful. And then her moments of full collapse. We're basically watching her
Yeah.
be kind of like a star collapsing in on itself throughout the film. And it's really powerful. And it really tells a unique story about her position. So I think she deserves it. I really would love to see her win, but either one of these two fully deserve it. It's been a strong category this year. It feels like sometimes the best actress category gets overlooked, or we kind of have one person that's clearly going to win over everybody else. We have a lot of strong contenders this year, and either one of them would be a great choice.
Like I said, we're flipped on this one. I think Michelle Yeoh it should win. I want her to win. The reason I want her to win is even though I didn't love the movie, I do think she's one of the best parts of the film. I love her relationship with her daughter and the revelation of that in the end. It's really touching, and it does kind of make the movie come together and make me appreciate it more than maybe I wouldn't have if the ending didn't work.
Yeah.
Best Actor, this is definitely the most competitive category this year. Everyone's talking about it, and so we'll jump right into it. I think will win is Brendan Fraser. He has the momentum based off of SAG, and he gave a great acceptance speech. It was really touching, really moving. It's a comeback story to Hollywood. Everyone loves him from George of the Jungle and The Mummy, and like it's just really cool to see him back in the spotlight. And so I really think that he's going to pull this one out.
So I also think that Brendan Fraser is going to win. He's also who I want to win. If you watch my channel, I love The Whale. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. It really connected with me on a personal level, and I think his performance was just completely unexpected. I mean, I would not expect this from Brendan Fraser in a million years. I've loved him in movies growing up. Having him come back and give such a powerful, emotional performance, it was great to see. I also think that being able to meet him and meet the director when I went to the Middleburg Film Festival, it gave me a unique perspective into how this film was made, how it was created, and the crafting of it. I think some of the criticism behind his role in kind of the movie in general is a little unmerited in my opinion. And I do think that this film and him in general were just one of the most powerful things I've seen on the screen in probably years.
Who I want to win is Austin Butler. He blew me away when I saw Elvis early on in the year. I couldn't believe it. I thought that this was going to come off as a parody, the performance in this movie. I didn't even really remember who Austin Butler was. I mean, I knew he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but he had such a small role. And to see him kind of break out in Elvis and really be like the main drive and the reason that people love this movie, it was just great to see. He does a lot of his own singing, which was really cool. And he just fit the whole persona. You know, Elvis is kind of this like mythic person, and for people like me, it was really cool to see and connect with him on a different level because of this film, and that's all because of Austin Butler and the direction of Baz Luhrmann. I think that Austin Butler should win this.
Yeah, Austin Butler is definitely deserving of winning this award. This whole Oscar season, this whole award season in general, feels like it's full of really good stories, really good comeback stories, and he's one of them. I mean, I knew him as Sharpay's boyfriend. I mean, this guy comes in, puts together one of the best performances of ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I do think, for me personally, the Brendan Fraser performance is it's so elevated, it's so deep, it's so emotional. Not saying that Austin Butler's performance isn't. Showing Elvis from his early days as like a wide-eyed, naive performer to a truly troubled individual who was used and abused throughout his life, it's great. Both of them fully deserve it. I'd be perfectly happy with either one winning. Just a really strong and really unique category this year. So our last category is going to be Best Picture. And as we have alluded to multiple times in this video, Everything Everywhere All at Once feels like the clear front runner. I think it's going to pull away with this one. I think we're going to have a lot of awards for this movie. It's really going to get some of its own dues here. And I just think that at this point, between it having great direction, great acting, everything about it, I think it's got to win.
Yeah, I agree. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win it. And I think it's kind of what we've alluded to in this video. It's nominated for so much. I mean, how could it not win?
Yeah.
I think that the nominations kind of speak for itself, and so I think it will win.
So the movie that I would love to see win this category is All Quiet on the Western Front. When I checked out this movie, I didn't know what to expect. I had seen the previous film. I kind of knew the general ideas of this film, but when it got thrown up on Netflix, I was not expecting one of the most well-shot, well-acted, and powerful movies that I've ever seen. I think it's one of the best put-together war movies. I think it's right up there with 1917, which was one of my favorite movies that year. That came out. But this one is so emotional. It really dives into the idea of someone joining a force, joining a war because they think they're doing the right thing. They think they're going to be a hero. And then you see the horrors of war, and you can just see the story move along and just the darkness and the horrors of what happens in the world. And I think it feels very timely with everything happening now, that it's a story we shouldn't forget about. I mean, it's almost 100 years old at this point, the story, but it feels just as real as when it was written.
All right, and my should win should come no surprise. It's the most popular film, I think, in this category. Top Gun Maverick should absolutely win Best Picture. If the Oscars wants to do anything right ever in my lifetime, it would be making sure that Top Gun Maverick, the right movie, wins. What Tom Cruise was able to do with this legacy sequel 30 plus years later, bring everyone back to the theater, everyone of all ages, it's amazing. Strapping cameras in the F-18 Super Hornets, it's just phenomenal. It's unparalleled to anything we've ever seen. Cinematography's great. The music, I mean, come on. Like, it has amazing music, not just original score, but actually songs that were performed for the movie. So I just think this movie is on another level when talking about what do you like and what is the best picture. It is Top Gun Maverick. It's why we go to the movies. It should win.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would love to see Top Gun win. I feel like there's almost no chance it's going to win. Yeah. Maybe they'll pull it off, and maybe it'll be a big surprise. But it is one of those weird situations where, for me, it probably was my favorite movie of the year last year. But how do you balance that between what is best picture and what you think is the best movie? I feel like it's a weird thing that happens around award season. Yeah. And I get it. I understand it. And it probably will win like the People's Choice Awards. It'll win those kind of awards. But it would be nice to see the kind of the Oscars throw a big blockbuster that people love. And not just any blockbuster. Like Thomas said, really well shot, really well acted. I mean, it's why people go to the movies. It's not just a throwaway popcorn film. It's a real movie. Yeah. So it would be nice to see it. Don't think it's going to happen, but I totally agree with that point. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to our predictions. Let us know who you want to win, who you think's going to win in the comments below. Make sure to check out Thomas's channel. We're going to link that down there. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.
See you guys.